Assalamualaikum and a very good day. So for today, we are from 3 BMMA section 1-2, group B. We will present for the alternative fuel, that is biodiesel. So my name is ZULKHAIRI ISKANDAR bin ZULKEPLI, matrix number B0919102006.
My name is NURSYAHIRAH Mano. My matric number B0919102237.
My name is Ling. My metric number is B0919102994.
My name is AFIFAH and my metric number is B0919100088.
Okay, my name Muhammad Shazmin bin Ahmad Firal. My metric number B0919101006.
So I will talk about the history of biodiesel. As you know, biodiesel is not the same as conventional petrol diesel. It's a byproduct of biodegradable, which made from non-toxic resource. It is produced by a process known as transesterification. So the history of biodiesel is started when Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine in 1890. And then in 1893, Rudolf Diesel holds the first patent for the combustion ignition engine and demonstrate a workable engine. And then he do a demonstration engine at the World Fair in 1900. And next in 1937, new inventor, with the Belgian inventor, suggests using transesterification to replace the diesel fuel. And next slide. And then in 1990, some researchers such as Martin Nisselbeck do further development of the biodiesel fuel industry. And then in 1996, the Pacific biodiesel became one of the first biodiesel plants in the United States, which established biodiesel production. And finally, in 2005, biodiesel production had reached 1.9 billion gallons worldwide. Finally, biodiesel quickly become one of the fastest growing alternative fuels in the world because of their benefits with clean emission profile, ease of use, and many other benefits. That's all for the history, and I'm passing to the next presenter.
Okay. What a biofuel made of? So scientists divide a biofuel into 4 categories or 4 generations. Depend on the raw material used to produce them. Okay, for the first generation, mainly from food related surplus. As example, including from stripe from the cereal plant, like corn or wheat, sugar from sugarcane, vegetable oil, and animal fat. Food can make from this substation in many ways. So for the first generation, and for the second generation, no food. From no food, they are mainly made from the celluloses that make up cell wall. That why they also call celluloses biofuel. Wood and straw are examples of material used to produce the cellulose biofuel. So crop residue. These are the material left over after the edible part of the crop is this harvest. And for the third generation, are produced by certain specific of algae. That's why they also called algae fruit. Some algae species can secretly or substance. This substance can be used as biofuel. they can create their own energy. What they can see as the low cost and high energy sources from making biofuel. However, they are still very specific to produce. And for generation, make up the new sector of biofuel technology in which scientists are trying to find a circle of bioenergy that double as a method for capturing and storing the CO2. These biofuel are usually created through the advanced biochemistry technique or petroleum like the hydroprocessing. All for me. So I will pass to next presenter.
Okay, I will explain the distillation of the biofuel. So basically, there are three basic routes to convert from oils and fats to the biodiesel. And one of them is the base catalyst transesterification of the oil. Second is the direct acid catalyzed transesterification of the oil. And the third one is the conversion of the oil to its fatty acid and to biodiesel. And the one of the most commonly used is the first one, the base catalyst transesterification of the oil. And what is the reaction mean for? So this reaction are using the strong alkaline such as the sodium hydroxide as the catalyst with the alcohol to convert the fats and oils to biodiesel, or we can call it as monoalkylic ester and glycerin. And you can see the right corner there, there's a chemical reaction about the conversion of the biodiesel. And this transesterification is the most economical process requiring only low temperature and low pressure to produce a 98% of conversion yield. Next is a successful transesterification reaction is signified by the separation of the ester and glycerol layers after the reaction time. Distillation is used to separate the liquids from non-volatile liquid, as in the separation of alcoholic liquors from fermented materials, or in the separation of two or more liquids having a different boiling points. So the heavier the core product, it will settle out and may be purified. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, I will explain the advantage and the disadvantage for biodiesel. Okay, next slide. Okay, number one, produced from renewable resource. Unlike other petroleum product that will vanish in years to come, it made from animal and vegetable fat. It can be produced on demand and also cause less pollution than petroleum diesel. Number two, biodegradable and non-toxic. When biofuel are burned, they produce significantly less carbon output and few pollutant as compared to petroleum diesel. Biodiesel produce less soot, particulate matter, carbon monoxide and sulfur. Number three, for advantage, more health benefit. Air pollution cause more death and disease than any other form of pollution. Pollutant from gasoline engine when released in the air form smoke and make thousands of people sick every year. Biodiesel produce less toxic pollutant than other petroleum products. Number four, better fuel economy. Vehicle that run on biodiesel achieve a 30% fuel economy that petroleum-based diesel engine, which means it makes fewer trips to gas station and runs more miles per gallon. Next. Okay, for disadvantage, number one, not suitable for use in low temperature. Biodiesel gel in cool weather, but the temperature that it will gel depend on the oil or fat that was used to make it. The best way to use biodiesel during the colder month is to blend it when winterized diesel fuel. Number two, biodiesel could harm the rubber house of some engines. While the usage of biodiesel increase the efficiency of an engine, it can also considerable damage the rubber tree of some engines. So before shifting to biodiesel, all these points must be considered. Number three, clogging in engine. Biodiesel clean dirt from the engine. This proved to be an advantage of biofuel. But the problem is that this dirt get collected in the fuel filter and clog it. Lastly, number four, food storage. Since biofuel are made from animal and vegetable fat, more demand for this product may raise price for this product and create a food crisis in some countries. For the production of biodiesel from corn may raise its demand. Okay. Next.
Now, from my opinion, biodiesel is more of a better option compared to normal diesel, such as in other countries, in European countries, they've many used biodiesel nowadays. That's why they've changed the name to Euro 5 and so on. Now, biofuel, alternative fuel, is even more stable compared to if talking about using electric powered vehicles. So one of the reasons is that, as we've seen a few cases where electric cars caught on fire due from the lithium ion batteries. Now those are actually dangerous, and even in today there's no such of a proper method to put out a lithium ion battery that's lit on fire. Now the other case of it is that to manufacture a lithium ion battery, we need to dig and do mining for rare earth minerals. Now, rare earth minerals, as we know in other countries that are like China, even our country, Malaysia, it's very costly to do mining for rare earths. So I believe that we will still be using internal combustion engine vehicles in another 5 more years, where most car manufacturers will still manufacture an ICE engine for cars, which will run all sorts of different biofuels, alternative fuels. And some we've seen running on hydrogen, some are using still like a hybrid, but where they run with a different sort of fuel, which use natural gas and whatnot. But I still believe that using biodiesel is a much better option, and it's a way where we can still produce them with a more refined formula, where it can reduce the amount of pollutants and also change the way that the mindset of saying that we would always evolve in electric powered vehicle sort of option. So to me, I still believe that fuel that is an alternative fuel like biodiesel or petroleums that were made from process of seeds, plant seeds and all that are a better option. So that's why I still believe that from an alternative fuel sort of option, biodiesel is one of the best. So thank you.